Okay, so AI it's just everywhere right now, isn't it? It's churning out our pictures, it's writing our code, and yeah, it's fueling an investment boom of historic proportions. But behind all that hype, there's this nagging question. How solid is any of this really? Let's get into it. Just look at this number for a second. $50 billion. It's a figure so huge it's almost hard to even picture. And get this, that's how much venture capitalists have poured into AI in just the last 3 months. The cash flowing into this space isn't a trickle, it's not even a river, it's a full-on tidal wave. But here's the thing. What if this entire boom, all this money, all this excitement, is actually propped up by a hidden economic reality? A secret that, once you see it, might just change the way you think about the future of AI. Stick with me because we're about to pull back the curtain. All right, first up, let's just try and wrap our heads around the sheer scale of what's happening. We're calling this the AI gold rush, and believe me, it has earned the name. And you really start to see the scale of this gold rush when you look at this chart. In just the first half of this year, AI startups raked in an unbelievable $83 billion. Meanwhile, funding for every other kind of startup actually hit a 7-year low. It's clear all the money is flowing in one direction. And look, this isn't just happening with startups. The hype has totally spilled over into the public markets. Right now, the tech sector's slice of the S&P 500 is bigger than it was at the absolute dizzying peak of the dot-com bubble back in 2000. That alone should make you stop and think. You know, it's one thing for us to be skeptical, but the warnings are coming from inside the house. This quote is from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. When one of the key figures of the entire AI movement says people are about to lose their shirts, well, it's probably a good idea to listen up. So, okay, if the people at the very center of this thing are worried, what are they seeing that maybe the rest of us aren't? This is where we start to find the first real cracks in the code. That point where all the hype crashes into cold, hard reality. And here is the first massive crack in the foundation. For all of this investment, the actual business returns just aren't there yet. A recent MIT analysis found that a jaw-dropping 95% of corporate AI projects delivered no measurable profit. Companies are burning through billions on experiments that just aren't panning out. And we're not talking about small-time experiments here either. Take Forward, a super ambitious AI healthcare company. They raised over $650 million for these futuristic care pods before the whole thing just shut down. I bet you remember this one, the Humane AI Pin. Despite an insane amount of hype, the product, well, it just didn't really work. It got so bad that reports came out saying customer returns were actually outpacing new sales. The company's assets were eventually sold off for parts.
And let's do one more for good measure. Too Simple, an autonomous trucking company. At its peak, this company was valued at $8 billion. Today, it's worth less than $300 million. So the lesson here is pretty stark. Throwing a ton of money at a problem doesn't mean you'll end up with a business that actually works. Okay, so this brings us to the real heart of the matter, the core of this whole explainer. If the returns aren't there, what in the world is actually funding this entire ecosystem? It's time to pull back the curtain on the hidden engine of AI. So check this out, because this slide really breaks down the hidden math of AI. Let's say you pay $200 a year for some cool AI app. That money doesn't just stop there. The app turns around and pays about $500 to the AI model provider. That model provider then pays $1,000 for cloud computing, and the cloud company pays $5,000 for the GPUs to run it all. So, how does this math possibly add up? The answer is, it doesn't. It doesn't work. This is the secret. At every single one of those steps, it's venture capital that's plugging the gap, injecting cash to cover these massive, massive losses. Your $200 subscription is just a tiny fraction of what it really costs to deliver that service to you. And there's actually a name for this whole setup. It's called the Subsidy Treadmill. It's an economic model designed to make AI feel cheap, easy, and everywhere for us, the users, because in the background, investors are footing the actual bill. But, you know, a treadmill can't just run on its own forever. And believe me, the real bills are absolutely staggering. OpenAI reportedly lost over $500 million back in 2022. Just keeping ChatGPT up and running is estimated to cost around $700,000 every single day.
And get this, a single query on Google's AI costs 10 times more than a regular old Google search. This is just not sustainable without an endless fire hose of cash.
So, a massive wave of investment, companies burning through cash like there's no tomorrow, and really questionable profits. Does any of this sound familiar? Because it absolutely should. Let's take a look at how history might give us a pretty good map for what's coming.
I mean, the parallels to the dot-com bubble are just uncanny. Back then, most of the startups went bust. But the ones that made it through, companies like Amazon and Google, survived because they were built on real profitable business models. The AI boom is flashing all the same warning signs, which points pretty strongly to a similar kind of shakeout coming our way.
So, where do we go from here? Is it all doom and gloom? How does AI get off this fragile, subsidized treadmill and turn into an industry that's actually built to last? Let's map out what that could even look like.
The answers aren't some kind of magic bullet. It really just comes down to building an actual, real business. It means companies need to start focusing on real return on investment, not just hype. It means pricing services to actually match what they cost to run. And it means using the right-sized model for the job, not always the biggest, most expensive one. And maybe most importantly, it's about building backbone businesses and designing AI to help humans, not chase the incredibly expensive dream of completely replacing them. You've probably heard that old saying, right? In a gold rush, don't dig for gold, sell the picks and shovels. Well, in the world of AI, the picks and shovels are the GPUs, the cloud platforms, the essential infrastructure. That's why companies like NVIDIA are doing so well. They're selling the crucial tools that everybody else needs, and they're charging a price that reflects their true value. And all of this really leads us to a pretty big realization. A technology as transformative as AI is just too important to be built on the shaky foundation of venture capital's boom and bust cycles. If it's going to truly last, it needs a much stronger economic model to stand on. Because let's be crystal clear, AI is not going anywhere. The technology is real, the potential is real. But the era of the free, subsidized lunch is coming to an end. And that leaves all of us with the biggest, most important question of all: who exactly is going to pay for its future?